Welcome back to Adventures with Bam. I'm Brent Billings.
And I'm Maggie Billings.
And this episode has us remembering Jonathan Mathew Franco, a very dear friend to so many of us.
We haven't done an episode on him before. I'm sure we've mentioned him.
We have mentioned him, but we have not done the full episode.
The full episode. Well, what do you want to say?
He was a shift manager at McDonald's.
That's not the...
That's really the key part of his lingo.
No. That is the third line. His Facebook became a remembrance page, as that does. If you don't know anyone who's died before on Facebook, sometimes that happens. And that's like the third line down, and said he was a former shift manager at McDonald's.
Which was true.
Thought that was hilarious.
He worked during high school and was like taking care of his mom and stuff. Like it was kind of crazy, but also not surprising knowing him. I was introduced to him through when I worked at the church in Post Falls. One of the IT guys, Brian Pelham, also a very dear friend. Love that guy. He was a roommate of Franco's when he had an apartment in Coeur d'Alene. And so I would go over to their apartment for movie nights, and Franco was doing movie nights and Bible studies at the apartment. I think had so many people over all the time that the neighbors would call the cops on him.
Oh my.
And he would be angry about this. And somebody at some point was like, why don't you do a ride along and like get their perspective? So he does the ride along, and then he ends up deciding that he wants to become a police officer. So he goes to the Idaho Post and ends up getting a job at Rathdrum City Police Department. So his dad had like developed some land in Rathdrum and had a neighborhood and had set aside a plot for each of his kids. And so Franco got his plot and built a duplex on it. So he moved in there along with two other people on his side, one of them being me. And then the other side were other friends. So there were 6 of us living in this duplex in, separate units technically, but we were all just kind of like
together.
In and out. Nobody locked their doors, the front doors. Like we were back and forth all the time. There were people over all the time. It was that kind of house. It was a very, very strange night that I could probably count on one hand the number of times when there wasn't somebody over at the house.
Yeah.
Friday night was the big like official movie night, but every night there was somebody there.
Yeah, Tuesdays was taco night,
sure,
and
Taco
Wheel of Fortune, and
like everything. We had all sorts of reasons to be there. And that was just the kind of like he was seriously friends with everybody. He knew everybody. When he died in a motorcycle accident, not on duty. He wasn't a motorcycle officer. But he died in a motorcycle accident, and then his funeral was attended by lots and lots of officers.
Oh my gosh, yeah. My dad was head of the honor guard for that funeral.
Oh.
If you remember right.
I didn't remember that.
You remember right. If you remember, I remember right.
I don't remember that.
Which, man, Franco loved my dad, so I feel like that would have been...
And your mom.
And my mom. He's big fans of my parents.
Yep. Yeah. Kind of unfortunate that he did not see us get together. That was, he died.
He was shipping us for a while, I think.
It will be the day after this episode comes out. It was September 24th, 2011. And it was 5 weeks later that we started dating. No. It was October. It was like 2 weeks later that we went to Europe.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy timing. But honestly, really needed.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of, it was kind of one of those things that it was like, oh, do we still go? Like we're grieving. And he was a big traveler. So, and was very excited for us to, we had been planning the trip for a while, going to Europe and stuff. So it was kind of like, we're going to be sad. We can be sad here, or we can, go grieve in Europe. But honestly, like the trip I felt like was really helpful to the grieving process. It was nice to get away for a bit because it was a chaotic, like he died and life changed so much immediately, you know, because like you said, the duplex was like such a hub, like always people over there, always. And he was also an avid gun collector. So, you know, when a police officer dies and they have firearms in their homes, like the police have to come take the firearms. You can't have a bunch of like crying 20-year-olds, just a bunch of loose guns everywhere. So they came and took all that. And then, you know, it got messy. We were like, well, we can't. Basically, my parents opened up their home and they were like, everybody, like, you need a space to be together. Come stay here. And that was, I mean, it's own thing. Just how wild it was. Like how many people were there who didn't even know me and didn't even know my family. And, you know, waking up the next morning after he died with a house full of people that I knew and didn't know, and having to literally like step over people to get through the house. All the beds were full. All the bedrooms were full. The couches, the floors. Like, I mean, there had to have been, I don't know, 50 people.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nuts. And my parents were just like, yep, everybody stay here as long as you need. So we were just in this like grief bubble that was wild. And then, you know, went straight into planning the funeral. And obviously his, you know, family was involved in that too. But like, I feel like you and Becky and I and a few others were like really key into planning the funeral as well. So it was a big few weeks, because just processing and then you guys moving out and planning the funeral and doing the whole thing. And then it was like, and we're leaving for Europe. Like there's just no time. So I think getting a bit of a change of pace and a little bit of space to just breathe, was really good. It was really good for us. I don't know. Do you feel like his death affected your timeline on pursuing me?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
I feel like I thought you had mentioned something like right around, I don't know, RDTR or something. When you said something along the lines of like, you know, you had feelings for me for a long time and had kind of gone back and forth between like, do I risk our friendship? Do I not? Like, and losing Jonny kind of giving you the push of like, ooh, like, we really don't know. You know, I don't know how much time I have left and I want to be really intentional with the time that I have. And I don't know. I don't know if that sounds familiar to you at all.
I mean, sure.
It wasn't like, oh, Jonny died and I'm sad, so now I'm going to date Maggie.
No, it wasn't like that. I think, you know, probably would have gone. I don't know if I would have necessarily told him right before I left for the trip, maybe. Or maybe he just would have been the first person to know when we got back. I don't know. I'm not sure. But
he didn't explicitly know that you had feelings for me either, did he?
No, he never knew.
But you said that he sort of hinted at it and sort of encouraged you in that direction a few times.
Yeah.
That like there would be other girls that you would date and he'd be like try to warn you or something.
He's like, dude, what about Maggie?
Which is so funny because that's exactly what my parents were saying about you.
Yeah. And also, you know, like, hey man, Maggie's mom's pretty cool.
Do you remember there was a time, man, it was, I don't even know when in the timeline this was. But you stayed at my parents' house for something. This was before Jonny died. You stayed at my parents' house for something. And maybe you were going to dog sit or something. We were leaving early in the morning for the ranch. We did drive to Montana. You and I were not dating. And you stayed at you were like sleeping on the couch or something. And my mom on her way out the door, like gave you a kiss on the forehead.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And how you're like, Johnny's going to be so jealous.
I was there because I needed to drive you home in your car.
That wasn't the same. That wasn't the same time. That was a different event.
I stayed there multiple times.
Oh yeah. I mean, not a lot of times, but this was like a separate thing. There was also the time that you had to drive me home because I had taken it sounds weirder. I don't know how to say it without making it sound like I had taken a substance.
You took like a vitamin supplement, but it
made had
you
the
feel
opposite
super
effect.
weird.
Yeah, it was supposed to give me energy and it did the opposite. And I felt like I've never been high, but I felt like how I imagine it feels to be high. I was like floating, and I was like, I cannot drive my car. So you drive my car, and then, you know, you slept on the couch. But it was a different time that you specifically stayed there because we were leaving for Montana or something, and you were going to like feed the dogs or something in the morning. I don't know, something like that. But
Okay.
anyway, my mom gave you a little kiss on the forehead, and
Yep.
Johnny was really jealous of that.
Yep.
That was great. A little crush on my mom. She's a babe. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah, sure.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's see. Other key things to know about Franco. Talked about the guns.
I mean,
big motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
Big road tripper guy. Nelson, British Columbia, favorite spot.
Mm-hmm.
We would go up there, day trips all the time. I mean, basically any kind of road trip you can imagine. I've been on so many road trips with him. I think this is where, I know we talked about it in our road tripping episode. I'm assuming he came up in other spots too, but like road tripped with him down to the redwoods in California, Victoria, British Columbia, multiple trips to Seattle, many, many, many day trips up to Nelson, all over the place.
Yeah. I think things that I fondly remember about him are just how like hyper hospitable he was.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that has definitely shaped, for both of us, I feel like I can confidently say, just our view and the importance that we place on hospitality. Because like you said, the door was literally never locked, and there were always people coming over. And
I think between his like investment strategy of getting a duplex,
Yeah.
and renting it out to 5 other people, like I'm sure that more than covered all of his mortgage costs.
Yeah.
And among all of our friends working as a police officer, he probably had the best job of anybody who was hanging out there.
Sure.
And so he just had plenty of extra money, and he was thrilled to just buy all the food and do whatever. Like he wasn't reckless with his money,
No.
but he was 100% generous.
So generous, and always like welcoming people in. Like the first time that I met him, and I mean, especially right after he died, it was just story after story after story of people talking about how they met him and how immediately he just welcomed them in. Like meeting someone. I mean, the first time I ever like was in a car with him, he was like, "Tell me about yourself. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do?" Like, was very, very intentional in conversations and curious about people, and loved to hear people's thoughts and opinions. And
very good listener, not afraid of asking deep questions, not afraid of asking weird questions just to like get a wedge of some sort into your brain to get the conversation started. Like he was willing to do whatever it took to get you to open up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel like that, I don't know, that was, I mean, that, I can't even talk about like that season of life for me. Because I was coming out of just a season of, basically I had, was a semi-new Christian, and had been like going to church for a while and stuff, and had been seeking out community for a while, and really felt like this is, I'd been going to the young adult group and felt like this is where it's going to happen. I felt like God had told me, like, this is where you need to be. Just keep coming. Just keep coming. I know it's awkward. Keep showing up. Keep showing up. And that was the connection point. Like once, I think it was you and Becky invited me over, and then Jonny like threw open the gates and was like, please come over all the time. Like, I think feeling so seen and so welcomed was just huge for me. And that group of friends is still like a lot of our core people. Like they were in our weddings. Like we've continued, even after our move to Moscow, we've continued to like keep up and do life with these people from that season of life. So yeah, I think I'm just so grateful for his hospitality and his willingness to, and I know that he didn't always want to, like there were times that he was tired and like just needed some space. So like he was a real person. It wasn't like he was a saint that, never needed space from people. But man, he did things so open-handedly, and yeah, I feel like I want to be more like that. And it's different, when you're single, it's different as a single guy than as like a married couple with kids. So we've had to shift some things around and adjust our expectations. But I think the reminder has always been there and really important to us to make sure that we're welcoming people into our lives.
And I also just can't emphasize enough how big of a group this was.
Yeah.
And he was that open and welcoming to, like, not unusual for there to be 40 people there on a Friday night for the movie night.
It would be hot.
Nobody's really watching the movie. Like, some people are kind of paying attention to it, but like, people are in the kitchen, people are playing video games in the bedroom, people are out in the garage checking out like motorcycle stuff or
People
car
are in
stuff.
the corner doing homework, writing
whatever.
papers.
Like,
yeah.
people just wanted to be there
On the
because
stairs. Yeah.
it was the most loving place to be.
Yeah. I feel like we did holidays. I mean, Friendsgiving was always a thing, and that was always packed. It was a family. Like, just people were tight, and we did stuff together and had traditions. And I remember days where he would, like, someone would show up at my work with a jamba, and they'd be like, Jonny told me I should go check on you because you're having a bad day. And I was like, what? Like, he was like a big brother, and I have a big brother already. But it's nice to have two.
I didn't know at that point.
You didn't know. You did. I mean, you found out.
Yeah.
You found out before Jonny died that I had a big brother. But
Anyway, that's Franco.
I'm wearing his old sweatshirt right now. A handful of times I'd show up and, be on my way out for camping, and he'd be like, it's going to be cold there. Did you pack a sweatshirt? And I'm like, no. He's like, take this one. He has had a Boise State University Fiestable Champions sweatshirt from 2007. I was a Boise State fan. I watched that game. So the fact that he had the sweatshirt was like, yes, that's the one. So that was always the one that I borrowed from him. So when he died, I was like, if his sweatshirt is still there, that's all I want. And it's like the best. It's like it's the most comfortable thing I own. May it live on forever.
14 years later, still going strong.
Yeah, it's weird that I have had it now for much longer than it was ever his.
Yeah.
So
it's an 18-year-old sweatshirt now.
That is crazy. The sweatshirt could go to college. It could go to Boise State University right now and win the Fiesta Bowl.